Balvenie is a pretty malt whiskey, right? It has this beautiful, sweet, feminine characteristic about it. It's seductive. Welcome back once again, everybody. My name is Wade, and you are here with me today on McIntyre's Malts for a tasting and review of the Balvenie, the Sweet Toast of American Oak 12-year age statement. All right, so I've poured a dram to let it sit for a little bit while we talk about the whiskey, and then we're going to jump into the nosing and the tasting, and then my recommendation if I think this is a whiskey that should be worth your time and attention. The story behind this one is one of the apprentice Kelsey McKechnie, I think is how you say it, and she decided that she wanted to use Kentucky virgin oak barrels to create more of a fruitier Balvenie. This Balvenie comes in at 43% ABV. It is likely chill filtered and almost certainly full of artificial coloring as well. If you are interested in this expression from Balvenie, you're looking at around $120 Australian. So let's begin with the nosing. Definitely the first thing that hits me is just toffee. There's a spiciness here. There's a little bit of the sharpness, almost a bitiness. Bread notes, cereal notes. I wouldn't say fruitier, like I'm not getting orchard fruits. I'm getting raisins. There is a grapiness sort of kind of smell to it. Probably those are the three kind of key notes. I'm getting cereal notes, the toffee note, and then a raisin kind of aroma, grape type aroma with a little bit of a spiciness underlying. Okay, let's try this one on the palate and see what flavors come across from the nose. It's nice. It's very subtle at the beginning, just the maltiness and the toffee, and then you get this woody note. The oak comes through and starts to just make itself known, and once that has enveloped your palate, then the spice transitions in. A reasonably good finish, given that it's only 43% ABV. I find it does seem to have more body than you would expect for such a low ABV. Now the spiciness is just sitting there. It's reminiscent of that bitiness of ginger. I'm not entirely certain. I think it's the combination of the astringency, the wood notes. The oak is very much detectable in this one. It's not coming across as the vanillas from the oak or the coconut from the oak. It's like the fresh cut wood staves of the barrel, and that combination with the ginger spice almost gives the impression that it's some other different spice. The combination of the two creates a unique experience. Fruity is a good and reasonable way to describe this whiskey, but not in the sense of if you thought of something like a Glencadam that is fruity with orchard fruits of pear and apple. This isn't pear and apple at all. It's more of a richer spirit. It's actually very pleasing and full, more so than you would expect. It invokes the imagery of golden foods and flavors, being the barley and the toffee and, you know, golden raisins. It's very much in that realm. It's really pleasant, actually. It's a very nice nose on this. Balvenie is a pretty malt whiskey, right? It has this beautiful, sweet, feminine characteristic about it. It's seductive, but it's not faint or so light. Like, a lot of people will talk to the light character of Balvenie, but this, I think, has a little bit more richness and fullness, has a little more body to it. It gives it more to satisfy the drinker than a typical 12-year-old double would. All right, let's try now. Final sip and the finish on the Balvenie Sweet Toast of American Oak 12-year-old. It's so gentle on the second sip, gently caresses your palate, very sweet, not offensive, easily accessible, and then as you swallow the whiskey, you get this beautiful rush of the oak and the spice come through at the end. Just a nice contrast and a nice transition out of this being just a boring whiskey that has notes of vanilla or toffee and doesn't evolve into anything else. It's well done, and I think it would be lovely to experience these at a higher ABV with without being chill filtered or artificially colored. But what I will say is, of the whiskeys that fall within that realm, Balvenie has been one that has impressed me more in that space, that still has quite a lot to offer, even in a muted presentation. It's most certainly a good value proposition, this one, if you're thinking about an age-stated whiskey of 12 years for around $120. That's fairly accessible in the Australian market. This is what you would consider an affordable bottle, more of a entry-level price point for a single malt at least. Yeah, I recommend it. I think it's a very pleasing and easy sipper. There's enough going on, a really nice contrast of the spiciness with that sweetness and the cereal notes. Most certainly enjoyed the tasting and review today. If you've enjoyed this one today, guys, please make sure to leave a like down below on the video, and don't forget to click subscribe to the channel. I release new content weekly, and I'm going to savor this last little bit now of the Balvenie 12 in my glass. And while I do that, why don't you check out this video here? It's something that I think you'll enjoy. Slàinte mhath.